On time, Arun. We have come to the last contributor for today. That is Talent West of India, a student organization which is started off from SRM, and they took the last program and they really scaled it across many schools in many districts in Tamil Nadu with through a sheer power of volunteers, voluntary network. Now they're also innovating more on top of that. So TQI, I think we have few people from TQI. Ram, are you there? Ram Subramaniam?
Yes, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah,
Ram,
yeah,
sir?
very well, very well.
Yeah.
Over to you, Ram.
Yeah. So, good evening, everyone, and so happy to listen to amazing
You can
initiatives.
put on your video if you can, Ram.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, so great to listen. I think so. There are many models that we can take it to the Tamil Nadu clusters. I'm more excited now to with our volunteering network that we need to take it up into the clusters. So I'll quickly say what is TQI quickly and get on to the model that we are currently working in our clusters as part of Mission Samriddhi.
Yeah.
So 1 second. Yeah, is it coming up?
Yeah, it's coming.
Great. So, sorry. Right. So, Talent Quest for India is purely a volunteering movement, as we call because no one is a full timer. It's a volunteering movement of engaged over 8,000 young volunteers in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, where we started by a bunch of our friends when we were in grade 11 in 2010 as a concept, and then coming together and then going and appreciating a lot of talents which is there in the government school, listening to them, appreciating them, because just being from a small town in Tamil Nadu, going and listening to those kids, with a non-judgmental listening and appreciating there are a lot of talents. That is what is TQI started when a bunch of friends were there in 11th grade in 2010. So with the vision of creating socially responsible leaders, we go with the strong values of non-judgmental listening and appreciation and sharing knowledge without any prejudice and taking voluntary responsibility, and taking Abdul Kalam as a motivation of dreaming big for us and for the country. So when we started to listen to a lot of students, youngsters from rural students who come into the city. I privileged enough to from a small town come to the major city in Chennai, and then studying engineering. Understood a lot of students have the fear of speaking English and then the stage fear. So these two are the one we thought we should address it first. So that's how we friends have designed a small program called Express, where small gamification of converting Rajinikanth punch dialogues into Tamil and then English, and then making them to speak that in the hostel room. So that is how we started our Express program, and then started to do that in the nearby schools. And even in this pictures where we have been doing in a nearby company for the operators too. So that is how we started to listen, understand what is a need or what is a problem that we can address this collectively together. And then that's where we got to know about Ulla's program, which is amazingly designed for the 9th to 12th grade. So when we were actually taking this Express program, the college students whom we are addressing, who are from tier 2, tier 3 cities, were asking, Anna, you're doing it for us, how can we do something for the students were from our village, from our community? So that's how we thought, why can't we connect the local college students as akkas and annas and mentors to them from 9th grade to 12th grade, taking this beautiful Ullas program to the students. So we started to take this program as a volunteering model in 2014, starting from 8 districts. Now we have been expanding, continuously moving from 9th grade to 12th grade, and the success of it is so beautifully that we are now seeing the students who have been traveling with us for 4 years now getting into the college and coming back as volunteers. So they coming back as volunteers, forming a TQI team in the college, and then mentoring the school students. So that is the success of the volunteering movement that we have been doing in. And the joy of giving week, there are a lot of other awareness programs and need-based programs that our volunteers in each of the districts do, because what we have understood that when we give that freedom with responsibility in tier 2, tier 3 cities to the youth, there are a lot of ideas and the responsibility that the youth are ready to take. They just need a platform for them to express and explore. So each district is a function as a separate unit. They prepare their own calendar of what they want to do in the community. So Joy of Giving Week, it is happening right now in October 2 to 8, where there are a lot of awareness programs happening in all the districts where TQI is present. And For 6th to 8th grade, we do something called Chote Scientist and Kana, where, with small materials, the science experiments can be done, and making students to ask more questions. Because what we have understood that we need to enable students to ask more questions. So our volunteers go to the school, enable students to ask more questions and make them to do experiments with simple materials. And now we are connecting that back to the Inspire Awards, motivating students to apply for the Inspire Awards by the DST and creating awareness on that for the 6th to 8th grade. So in previous speakers also spoke about, connecting, the mentors from other education institution. Over the years, 10 years of volunteering, our volunteers are now spread across the world. Our friends are now spread across the world. We are also having regular interaction of the mentors with our volunteers currently in tier 2, tier 2, tier 3 cities that we have been doing. And our volunteers are also taking one course for a year. We take one course for a year and do multiple programs in communities, schools and colleges where our volunteers are present. So over the year, these are our courses. And this year it is Read Evolution. We want to create awareness about libraries in the community, in the school and in the college. So each year we take a course and then take it up further. And our volunteers are also training for different scholarship exams by the government, to the government school students. And we are seeing that, there are a lot of past percentage that we can be able to do it. And as I said, each team will prepare their own calendar and then do multiple awareness activities in the community, schools and colleges. And My School, My Pride, we have been motivating a lot of college students and many other people to go back to their school, spend time with them, thank their teachers. And we have prepared a very small career chart with the scholarships which are available that a student can apply. And then we are asking people to go back to their school and spend time as mentors to the students. And there are other programs that we do for the college students also based on their need, which is coming up from lot our interaction with our college students over the years. Creating an importance and awareness about social entrepreneurship. A lot of fellowships are available, so that is not trickling down to the tier 2, tier 3 cities. The students were not aware of it, so we are doing an exclusive workshop on youth and social entrepreneurial mindset for the college students. And during COVID, while interacting with the parents of the school students, what we understood, the digital divide is too huge, and access to network, access to smartphone is not there. So one of the parents, when we were interacting, said that they fear that their learning outcome, or they lose the interest. My child will lose the interest in studying. So what can be done? So that's why we thought, why can't we connect one college student to one school student over a normal phone call for 30 days for half an hour daily, teaching them 5 English words, one moral story and one activity. This just started in COVID in May 2020, and then over the years it's still running. 71 batch, 1,200 one-on-one students connected all across Tamil Nadu. A volunteer from Chennai is mentoring a student near a village in Mailadurai. Strangers turning into families. And what we also did is we connected corporate volunteers one-on-one to the college students, where we designed a module on role plays, confidence building, and that is also to be able to connect the corporate people to the college students as one-on-one mentoring. And there are other skill development programs that we have been doing regularly for the college students of tier 2, tier 3. And we have linguistic circles also. For Tamil, we have Lagaram, we have one for Kannada, to ensure that our youth who are now used to the corporate and more on English communication is also very important that they understand their roots and things. Regular discussion on linguistic circles and translations also, that team is actually helping on. And so getting on to the major is, no one is a full-timer. We are present in over 30 plus district, 200 plus schools, and 8,000 volunteers have engaged. We reached over 50,000 plus students with purely a volunteering base, where during in the evenings and weekends, where our volunteers are closely engaged in a lot of awards that we have gotten. And this, we are also ensuring that even if it is a volunteering movement, it should be very organized, structured, and quality should not be compromised. So we have a very a robust organization structure, a process being built in even before going to a school as a session. The volunteers from college will prepare a lesson plan, send it over in the mail, get an approval, and then take it. This whole process and structure is built in place, so that through volunteering, we want to ensure that the volunteers learn important skills which will actually enable them in their career. So the process and quality checks are put in place as a learning process for them. So now I will quickly move into what we are actually doing in the Mission Samriddhi cluster in the last 2 years. So as we have been taking Ullas program into the past 7-8 years. Last year we got an opportunity to take our Ullas program into the clusters, 45 villages where Mission Samriddhi is present. So last year we did weekend classes where we involved the students, getting the parents concerned, where in the weekend learnings happened very robustly, where students from multiple schools came to a particular place in a village, and our volunteers traveled over the weekend into the deepest of villages, in Dharmaburi to Sidling, even 80, 90, 100 kilometers, where there are no network areas, and then sat with them on a weekend and listened to their dreams, motivated them. There are a lot of talent competitions happen, and this Ullas module enriched, those students to, ignited them and to dream big. So that was the last year we take our Ullas program to the 9th standards. And this year, we thought from the learnings that we got from the last year, we thought it is important that we take it in a holistic development models from whatever experience we have. So we are also taking our other programs that we have been taking in TQI to the clusters, where the scholarship training, 2 students got scholarship last year from the cluster. We're also doing one-on-one mentoring there. And one of the biggest feedback that we got from one of the parent is that, now I'm happily can send my student to government school, because there is an opportunity for my student in weekends to attend these kind of a program. So, and even if it is college students going in, the students are happily expressing their innovation, their thoughts to Annas and Akkas, and the Annas and Akkas are actually helping them with whatever knowledge and sharing that is happening. So this year, what we have done is we made a framework of 3 E's. This is over the experience of whatever we have done of express, explore, experiment, with 3 E's that we can able to make a children to do it. That is actually giving us a good result. So what we have done is we have made a holistic development program. This year, we're focusing on 9th grade and the 10th grade, and 5 teams that we want to bring in. So each of the Ullas, after each of the Ullas Summit session, we are giving them a small homework, involving them in the community, and then come back and take a thematic session. So for example, the Summit 1, Ullas Summit 1 session of day 1 is all about, a dream big, can do spread, and about different role model stories. So what is a homework that we are doing connecting to a theme is know your locality. So basically the students go back and then learn what is about their village, my pride. What are the different geographical areas are there? What are the different infrastructure available in their village? And come back the next time and then present it in front of the local role models, like the VAOs, the village administrator, the postman, the bank officer. We bring them as a chief guest, and then these students will present about the village to them. So, and the next session is all about science, and then we are also there is a one team on activating the village library. We are ensuring the students go back to the local village library, get a membership, read it, and then come and share regularly what is their reading is. And then we are also planning for an exposure field visit to a nearby college or a small company which is there nearby. And then we want to inculcate the basic constitution rights, and then at the end of it, create a student panchayat, so that the students start taking the ownership towards it. So this is the holistic development model that we built this year and taking into the cluster development program. So thank you so much. I'm ready to take questions.
So now you have 8,000 volunteers. That's amazing. Yeah. So you're maintaining a database on some applications, some volunteer application.
Yeah, so it's all thanks to Google, all Google Sheets, because operational cost is 0 for us. So thanks to Google Sheets, thanks to WhatsApp for maintaining district-wise WhatsApp offices. So lean of volunteering movement that we're maintaining. So what we're also doing is these volunteers who are now are present all across the world, they are the one who are actually funding us. Volunteers who are now into the corporate system from their monthly salaries, what they are funding in a self-sustaining movement. And these volunteers are mentoring the current college students. So that connecting is also been happening. Yeah.
But database is a Google.
Yeah, database is available. We are connecting Reconnect meets also. So tomorrow we are having a Reconnect meet where TQI Powai College, we started 2014. We are celebrating a 10-year of TQI Powai, where the person who started, he's coming, and actually in 2014 he's coming and doing the inauguration.
Okay, beautiful. So, but you're keeping a very distributed architecture for managing the volunteering network in a very sustainable manner. Beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other question? So sometime we were looking at a volunteering network, which LOPA was looking for. LOPA Gandhi. Maybe we need to look at whether the girls can be deployed for the adolescent girls kind of program. I think that's a very interesting thing, which is, I don't know whether you have a girls volunteer in your network.
Question to you, Ram. In the TQI volunteer network of 8,000, how's the focus on girls volunteers?
So actually, to be the number of girl volunteers is actually more than the boys volunteers in our TQI. And the whole, because our focus is more on tier 2, tier 3 girl volunteer coming into volunteer in itself is a great story for us. They breaking the glass ceiling, they breaking a lot of their parents was not allowed. They need to get a lot of permission even to come to a training from their place to the nearby district. It is that one volunteer who goes and talk and take permission from each of the parents and bring together. So coming to volunteer in itself is actually a big breaking up of the lot of societal things and coming in.
So
Ram, I just wanted to ask you, sorry.
Then I'm saying 12 modules of LOPA, like the last module are there, I think. So there's one kind is now we are getting into some sort of structure. You have a one called volunteering network. Volunteering network, Rhapsody has a volunteer network. You have volunteering network. So there's a one entity, I would say entity number one, E1 entity, which is a volunteer network. On one side, there's a school student. One side, there's a college student. And fourth side is their systems of practice. The best practices are there. Each NGO is bringing some best practice. So 12 modules of this. Pradeep is bringing another 16 modules. So these have become my modules. So now this is the structure emerging in the diagram, that how we have a one system where this multiple set of practices, which is being innovated in a multiple organization, can be distributed to the either volunteering network or a dedicated network or a teacher training network. So there's a multiple means of sharing that network. Ram, go ahead.
I was very keen to understand from Ram Subramaniam about 8,000 volunteers. You would have seen these 8,000 volunteers. What is that single criteria that you will say is common to all these volunteers? Because volunteerism is not easy, and sustaining it at this level. What is that one unique quality that you're observing from all of them?
So, you take it, to say it another way, volunteer as in Indian culture is actually been inbuilt, right? It is not like something that, the name may be volunteer, name may be English. So when our volunteers are tier 2, tier 3, these students, they have the inherent thing of, most of our students are from government school background. The volunteers are from government school students. When we ask them to go and, you want to come and go back to teach, they're like, okay, I missed this. If my Anna and Akka, if someone come and mentored me, I would have been, so I don't want to miss an opportunity to go back and share my knowledge and my whatever I've gone through to my juniors. So it is the sustaining is all because of, just what the youth is need, what they need is a platform to come and express themselves. So if that freedom is given, the responsibility is taken automatically. Only, actually, to be frank, only in cities we find it difficult to sustain volunteering because we don't have a team. If you ask me, we don't have a team in Chennai. We have a very small team, but all tier 2, tier 3, it is automatically sustaining. Leaders after leaders, volunteers after volunteers are coming in because they have that inbuilt thing of giving back. So it is just a platform for them to give back to the society.
So it's a rural to rural connect. Basically, what Pradeep Ghoshji was saying, the whole concept of rural to rural connect is much better than urban to rural connect. Beautiful. Anil?
So hi everyone. So this morning I actually sent a mail to Ram asking for help on this, and so just wanted to know what is the criteria for becoming a volunteer, and if there is something like you just want to train them. So is there any minimum criteria to get into this thing? And if we implement, for example, you say we just want to teach them on agriculture. So how do you see those volunteers? Like, are they trainable? How do you see those trainable rates?
Right. So on the selection of volunteers also, as I said, even though a volunteering movement, we have a robust system in place, right? So when a volunteers in a particular college shows an interest, we go on a, rather than what we say is an appreciation call. So we understand his talents, his skill, and then map it along to the projects that we are running in a particular college. So each volunteer, they applies it, and then that particular district team or the district lead, the zonal team, spend some time with the volunteer and understand what are his interest and what are his skill and how we can map it to the projects that we are doing or some other projects that he has in mind. Because all these projects that TQA is doing, it is not from top down approach, is bottom up. Each district came up with these projects, right? I see a need. One simple example that we need to see during COVID, all college students were running online classes, but we got to understand that many of the college student doesn't have even amount to do a data pack recharge. So data pack recharge is a huge demand during the COVID. So when we roll out a form within a night, we got 800,000 request of data pack recharge. So then there is a team went on understanding background check and then did a fundraising and then did for 2 years of data pack recharge. So it is volunteers. We go, we train them for each of the project. We have a training sessions for Ullas. We have a training model for Kana. We have a training model. So that to be trained and then they get on, into the field and start doing it.
Sure. Second question is, for example, we develop a curriculum. Like we all collaborate and develop a curriculum, and then how do we make sure that we have the same uniform delivery everywhere, and at the same time we also get the feedback? So how do you do this?
Okay, so answering to this question of uniform, we are very clear that there is no standardized solution in India, because for us each district, each thing runs in its own separate unit. When we take a Ullas program, the first session is role model. The role models, our volunteers in Salem will give a different model according to the context there. Karur will give a different context there. So each district is a unique thing, but the model or the overall framework, that to be done is given. So, but each district has a different context and flavor, and it is very unique. So,
and you have the freedom to do that local contextualization.
Yes, the freedom to do the local contextualization. So whatever the larger framework or even tinkering that you're talking about, that can be taken into that, and tinker, labs can be created in these districts and take it further, and feedback mechanisms can be built in, because we are also getting regular feedback. We have a feedback mechanism built in to get regular feedbacks, through different using technology or using one-on-one calls that we are ensuring with regular intervals.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. We are only just 15 minutes over short time, Arun. So I think we've managed very well on time today with all the different. But let's keep the dialogue flowing. Okay. Thanks to the WhatsApp group. There's a WhatsApp group. So a lot of questions now. All of us have got connected with each other. So please keep sharing. Please keep bringing more and more questions, and more connects can happen in that WhatsApp group. That is a very active group. I want to let's make it a very active group and a learning group. Yeah. Arun, over to you for. Let's conclude it.
Yeah. I think this session has got now 7 models today, and then there are 6 models. Earlier, around 13 models are there. And do we know any other models are there in India? So if you can, this group can help us out in identifying the models so that we can look at it, how many rural education models are there, and we can listen to the next. Every 3 weeks we have this design workshop, so we'll have a next workshop after 3 weeks from now. So this is Tak Ethe Pawal group. Okay, that's a one. So Ram and Anand, if you can look at it, what more models are there? Then we'll start doing the wiring of these models in a 5th workshop. We'll start looking at. We'll create one cartographic view after taking this. One more session. We'll look at it where any other models which are there. We can invite Teach for India, but those are very large models. We can look at it if they can participate, or any other models are there, Ram. If you can invite, because their volunteering network could be large network. So then we can look at it, whether those networks which are there, whether it's a network of somebody was mentioning to me, there's a network of this Shri Ravi Shankar. They have a network. Whether that network will be, they have a lot of volunteers in the villages, whether we can use that network. Chinmaya Mission has their own network. Rotary has their network. So those networks can be also, we need to see whether they can appreciate such thing, because Rotary clubs are there in most of the villages, or at least at a senior, not as one village level, but at a slightly larger level. So how do we look at it from a volunteering or distribution perspective. But on a content perspective, the knowledge perspective, so we need organizations which are development accelerators from a content perspective, development accelerator from a distribution perspective. And in between, we need to have a catalytic organization to catalyze these initiatives, whether like Ullas Library can have something more. Ullas Library is very low-hanging item. So when we are setting up somebody to run the Ullas Library, and Ullas Library has a Mulyavardhan books, which is well documented, and some books from we can select certain books, and if you are planning to put some 1,000 Ullas Library in 1,000 villages, then many things can become an anchor point for distribution for some of the programs in those 1,000 Ullas libraries in a more structured manner, because there will be somebody to maintain the library, and that person whosoever that resource is, that resource can use multiple days in a week to do the job, rather than having only one initiative to be done over there. So if there's a one day a week for program one day program is there, then we can distribute those programs in a manner to design it that the full-time person, if we have to take a local person there, we have a affordability of that program, because that person is working with 5 such programs, not one single program, and we are making more integrated program. So those possibilities are now coming out very well when we are designing the inspiration container, which can go to the villages to inspire the people, inspire the student. That's a method of inspiration which can be supported by Ullas Library, which is constant in nature. So there's some structure, some shape is shaping it up. It's a very early stage of shaping the full design, but this is the early design patterns we are observing, that I'm very more confident in this workshop than first workshop. First workshop was more, and which is natural happens whenever we start a design thinking workshop. First workshop looks very, very difficult, daunting. We don't see from where to open the thread. We have to pick up the
leave alone
thread.
the ambiguity and uncertainty also.
Ambiguity and uncertainty. We have large dreams, but we don't see how to start working on it. But staying with the problem statement for 3-4 months, it helps in bringing more clarity and more participant in this kind of a workshop. So I think this was brilliant session. If you can send your slides to Anand, and then Anand can put the slides and the content slides, whatever the contents are there, we create a content library of it. Rest assured, there will not be IPs for Mission Samriddhi. IPs are public IPs. So whatever is there, don't worry about the IPs, what you're sharing. If you don't want to share some IPs, it's okay. But we like to compile these IPs and look at it, what the cross linkages can be established, so that we have less number of classes. Like some Ullas Summit classes are there. I can help to modify Ullas Summit classes with a one constitutional class or a one women class, or adding some summit classes on Ullas Summit classes, which Lopa is suggesting, Ugam is suggesting for girls there, adolescent. So those are possible. Those connections are possible by creating a open architecture. In today's world, we know open architecture. We have resources. So Vishwajit can understand Silicon Valley is an open architecture. Open architecture has got some content and some distribution, some consumer. And if I create a technology platform, Vishwajit, I'm looking for creating a technology platform for the social development, where all these initiatives can come on one single technology platform, which can be consumed by most of them. So rather than everybody creating their own technology platform, it should be accessible from a single design, kind of ecosystem design, from where a lot of this data around the village, around the population of the village, school, healthcare centers, farming center, agriculture centers, all this can come in a one good data design at a ground level. So if you do a good ground level data design with all the possible entities in what we are observing, with the help of Ram and with the help of Sridhar, who are working in rural areas, and a lot of people from IT over here. So we have done our database design in multiple journeys of ourselves. If you can design a good data design first, which is comprehensive in nature. Unfortunately, government has not done it. They are done in silos. The data designs are not done in a very, very structural shape. They are designed by the one ministry or other ministry or third ministry. Every ministry has designed their own databases. And in absence of the good data design, my service designs are fragmented design and their data are not consistent. So that's a separate exercise, but that also, if you can overlay on top of it and everybody is available on the same network, I'm seeing huge potential from Anil Srinivasan bringing a professor of the so many universities and disposal to the volunteers from Vishwajit bringing from the US Silicon Valley, from volunteers at village level. So now you have three set of volunteers. You're saying university professor level volunteers, your US volunteers who are working for the villages, and then there's the rural volunteers who are sitting in village and they are volunteering. Just a 2-hour session, we could find such a beauty of the working that if you connect all the three set of volunteers, you have a level 1 volunteer, level 2 volunteer, level 3 volunteers. Now, all these 3 volunteers get connected, then professor from the university can teach Talent Quest of India volunteers also. If they get connected, projects-based learning of your volunteers, when they are volunteering, they also learning. It's not volunteering, they are not getting the beneficiary of the learning from some university professors on project-based learning. So interesting connect. I could able to see that we are able to see content also. So content side modules have come in, 16 plus 20, 12 plus some more content modules are coming in. And we like to add some more content on agriculture side. So I need to find out any other organization which teaches core beauty of agriculture. Agriculture is seen as a poor cousin. जो प्रदीप जी ने शुरू किया था कहानी कि हर एक कहानी में शुरू होता है गरीब किसान है गरीब गांव में, मतलब किसान के साथ गरीब तो ऐसे है जैसे वो चिपका हुआ है उसके साथ, तो जैसे चिपक गया उसके साथ बिहेवियर में चिपक गया कि वो गरीब है. जबकि एग्रीकल्चर इज can be a profitable venture over the period of time. So that particular thing, if you can integrate or understand better on agriculture education, agriculture-based education. In KFI, they used to have agriculture-based education. वो बच्चों को बोलते थे कि बीज इकट्ठे करके ले आओ. उस बीज जो उन्होंने बच्चे ने इकट्ठे किए बीज, उससे उसी से मल्टीप्लिकेशन सिखाते थे, उसी से डिवीजन सिखाते थे, उसी से then they can teach area of the square. So by the visualization of the land, height of the tree, trigonometry. Now all these things can be brought into our contextual learning. Today these learnings, what courses are there, we are still translating the courses into a ease of reaching the courses. But we are not fundamentally shifting that. How many fundamental concepts are there in maths? Fundamental concepts are there in economics? Fundamental concepts are there in English? If you know there are only, and I know that every language, everything has some finite number of concepts. There may be 10 concepts, there may be 20 concepts, there may be 30 concepts, but each number of concepts are only 10, 20, 30 concepts. Where I would like to work with the group is to distill those concepts. Once that those concepts are visualized and touch and feel. One is visualization, second is touch and feel. What Anil Srinivasan was saying, how do you bring art and art along with the STEM knowledge and to create those visualization and touch and feel. If I say measure the circle, you have your land which is not proportionate and it has a triangle, and you have every land is not rectangle in villages. The land has some corners coming in. Measure the area of that. If you start giving those exercises rather than saying there is a rectangle, measure and multiply and divide, those are the kind of a activity-based learning which a lot of you are designing, activity-based learning. Then this conceptual learning can be considered for our teaching methodology, which they can relate to. They can relate to biology on microbes, that how many microbes are there in biology, what is the bacteria are there, and what is the kind of a earthworms are there. From earthworms, you'll take the entire biology cycle of learning. All the pollinations and everything can be taught in their own farms, entire pollination cycles and the seed value and the economic value of the. So from the same farm, I can create economic value. What is the economic value of the farm? How many plants are there in a plant? How many flowers are there in the plant? How many per flower? How many grams of soybean gets produced in a per fully of it? How many weight of the soya can be created by one plant? If there are 5,000 plants, how many soya can be created in 1 acre of farm? Now, this is a way of teaching your commerce and economics. How do we look at these kind of a thought processes to be run where agriculture become pride of the people? Not, we should not keep on teaching sciences and saying urban, preparing the student for urban needs. As soon as they start taking pride in their own agriculture, then only agriculture they will love agriculture. That what kind of experimentation is allowed in agriculture? In last 3 years, when I start learning agriculture, I'm finding so many beauties are there to change the multi-cropping pattern. If you put turmeric along with banana, and how much is additional growth can be there. Now this has not been taught in schools, that these are the practices of biology, that there is a symbiotic relationship between turmeric and banana plants. Logically, in 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th syllabus, somewhere this thing has to come into our curriculum somewhere. That what are the affinities are there? When you grow cotton and then you grow lentils, they have an affinity of each other. You can grow intersperse your arhar ki dal and cotton can grow side by side. Where do we learn this fundamentals of the agriculture? No biology book will carry this. Yeah, Ram, you are saying something?
No.
Okay.
Very
But this is
fascinating.
the kind of questions I have in mind, because agriculture, one is we distribute the knowledge, what we have, content which we have, and we create a YouTube of those content. Now we need to create some YouTube of the knowledge which as of now has not been visualized. What is relevant for them, which make them exciting about their village? Like what TQI and Ram was mentioning, is that they do my pride, my village, my pride, my village. Now, my pride, my village is teaching geography through that village. As soon as they start exploring geography, it becomes my pride, my village. It's such a beautiful way of teaching geography or initiating on geography, not teaching geography, conceptual geography to be understood. After that, person will, once he has a small interest and a small concept clarity, the student will love that particular subject. We all used to get by one trigger point. All of us has got a trigger point for a particular subject, either because teacher has created the trigger point or a concept has created a trigger point. Trigger point happens only by conceptual clarity. If I feel I'm conceptual, chemistry is great subject for me, or physics is a very good subject for me, I just love physics. That time I don't know the full landscape of physics. I only learned that small concept, and I become follower of the physics, and I start getting good marks because I love it. So those trigger points, if I can create, which is attached to the village, that will be very, very interesting thinking process to dwell on. I know we don't have an answer right now, but we need to, when you are working with NCERT, when Ashokji was mentioning we are working with NCERT or SCERT, we need to create more holistic proposal for the NCERT, SCERT to include those courses also along with other courses.